Colonel Guy Mikowski, accompanied by his wife, Colonel Gemini Mikowski. Representing the Superintendent, 14th Medical Group, Master Sergeant Yukiya Carter, and Director of Programs, Vertex Aerospace, Mr. Brad Hall. In addition, we have in attendance with us today several distinguished guests. Please hold all applause until the end. Representing the United States Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, her Field Director, Mr. Brian Perry. Representing United States Congressman, representing the 1st District of Mississippi, the Honorable Trent Kelly, accompanied by his Field Representative, Mr. Robert Smith. The State Senator for District 17, the Honorable Charles Younger, accompanied by his wife, Mrs. Missy Younger. Appalachian Regional Commission State Program Manager, Mr. Mike Armour, accompanied by Lieutenant William Armour. The Mayor of Columbus, the Honorable Robert Smith. The Columbus Air Force Base flying mission is supported by contracted maintenance enterprise, Vertex Aerospace. Several representatives of Vertex Aerospace are with us this morning, led by their president, Rear Admiral Ed Boyington, U.S. Navy retired, Vice President Rick Schmidt, Vice President of Business Development, Lieutenant General Steve Polk, U.S. Air Force retired, and Contract Director, Mr. Jeff Lohman. The Columbus Wingman Award is an honorary designation that recognizes outstanding members of the community who have made exceptional contributions to the base. The designation wingman comes from the aviation term for pilot who flies his or her aircraft in formation with another aircraft, such as the power and strength of that formation is greater than the sum of its individual parts. There have been 33 wingman awarded recipients since the program's inception in 1993. If you are a Columbus wingman, please stand. A warm welcome to all squadron commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, honorary commanders, military affairs committee, friends and family of Colonel Gosney and Colonel Weeks, and the men and women of the 14th Flying Training Wing in attendance today. On behalf of Team Blaze, thank you for joining us. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of colors, ruffles and flourishes, the singing of our national anthem by Miss Alana Gilbert, and the invocation given by Chaplain Stephen Richardson.
your heads with me and join me in the tradition of your faith as I pray in the tradition of mine. Let us pray. Mighty and everlasting God, as the 14th Wing Mantle of Leadership has passed from one commander to another, we praise you for the many blessings you graciously bestowed upon us in the past, for those we confidently expect from you in the future. Lord, we thank you for the leadership we experienced these past 2 years, as Colonel Gosney has taught us lessons in honesty, integrity, perseverance, and care for airmen and civilians alike. We thank you for his knack for asking impossible questions and his grace as we struggle to answer them. We thank you that, as it says in Psalms 18, you have armed him with strength and directed his path. But Lord, as much as we're going to miss Colonel Gosney, I think we can all agree that we're going to miss Beth even more. The wing has been so blessed to have the Queen of Hugs, and we are humbled by how much she has loved every airman and family member of Team Blaze. Lord, be with the Gosney family as they prepare themselves for their next adventure. Watch over them, guide them, and be their unfailing ally. As Colonel Weeks assumes this legacy and takes command, we pray that you would endow her with diligence and leadership, creativity and management, and the energy and insight she'll need to make the right decisions and do the tough jobs well. Bless her, and bless Steve and their kids as they make Columbus their home. And finally, Lord, continue to watch over the men and women of Team Blaze, both here and deployed. Keep us faithful to our duties and make us worthy examples of integrity, service, and excellence for those who follow us. This we pray through your Spirit, who leads us and gives us the strength to lead others. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Ms. Gilbert and Chaplain Richardson. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Commander, 19th Air Force, Major General Patrick Doherty.
Hello. Well, what an incredible day here at Columbus, Mississippi. And Team Blaze, good morning. This is a fantastic environment. I know it's a little warm out there. Trust me, I know this because we're wearing polyester from the 1970s right now. But we'll try to quickly get through this. But I've got to talk about these two phenomenal leaders that are right behind me right now and talk a little bit about the incredible things that the Columbus team are doing and how they're being a beacon for our Air Force into the future. So a big thank you all. I tell you, there's a lot of excitement. I had to ask the question. I just asked the question again. Team Blaze. Team Blaze. Blaze. Where did Blaze come from? And so Colonel Gosney showed me the historical perspectives on that. It's amazing. It's a small world, but I understand it was Colonel Catton back in the day, about 20 years ago. Small world. He was my group commander, where his daughter babysat our daughters along the way. But he brought that forward, and how appropriate it is for the discussion that we're having in our Air Force about building leaders for the future. And you guys truly are building leaders for the future. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first off, I'd like to talk about a few special folks that are here today. To the Gosney family, to Beth, to Hunter, and Allie and Paige. Thank you so much for your service, your support, your sacrifices, the coaching, the mentoring that goes along with being an Air Force family. It was a team effort. Beth, can't thank you enough for all the mentoring and coaching and polishing up that you did over the years with guys. You built an incredible leader for the Air Force with your efforts, and you were a leader for our Air Force as well, and helping the families work their way through the challenges of military life and being a teammate, building those positive relationships. Thank you so much, and we want to celebrate your guys' incredibly wildly successful career in the Air Force as as you're touching into that next chapter, so congratulations and thank you very much. To the other family members that are here, the Montgomerys in Mass, thank you so much for being a part of the Air Force as well in your role, and how you developed incredible leaders along the path to make us better. You all have made our Air Force stronger and our country stronger for the future, so we're eternally indebted to you and your efforts over the years. And then second, to the inbound family, Combo Weeks and her husband Steve. Steve, you got your hands full right now with Ryan and Ethan, so it's good to see. But welcome to Team Columbus, and thank you for your service, and also the support and sacrifice that you've gone along to give Colonel Weeks an incredible opportunity. She's an incredible leader. Thank you for your mentoring and coaching along the way as well. And to Samantha's dad, I'm very proud. Master Sergeant retired. Thank you, sir, for the leader that you developed over the years. Incredible family affair that it is. So it's going to be a wonderful adventure. It's going to have ups and downs, but I will tell you that the victories and the opportunities to make a difference for airmen and the families are totally in your control to make a difference and to raise real concerns to the senior leaders of the Air Force, and have fun with it. The memories will last in eternity. It's the best job in the Air Force. I know sometimes in the officer corps we talk about the squadron commander being the best job in the Air Force, but I'll tell you, being a graduated wing commander ×2, it is the best job to make a difference for your airmen and for the families, and so have fun with that as well. And then finally, to all the distinguished visitors, there's an incredible amount of support from the local community, from industry partners, from fellow wing commanders from across this great country of ours. Thank you so much for your compassion, your love of this community, of this base, and of this mission. We couldn't do what Columbus Air Force Base does for its Air Force and for the joint fight without all of your advocacy and support. To all the representatives and the civilian leadership of our country, we're grateful that you care so much about Columbus Air Force Base, and we are teamed up on your wing to make sure that it continues into the future. I just want to give a shout out real quick. If anybody's worried out here in the crowd about Columbus Air Force Base going away or doing something, changing the mission or something like that, worry no more. All right, Columbus Air Force Base is a staple of pilot production for United States Air Force. I'm going to bring more production to Columbus Air Force Base and more resources and more manning in the very near future to the heights that have never been seen in the Air Force history. And so there's a lot of great excitement and momentum building as we move ourselves forward in the future. There's a special guest here, and she's probably not going to be too happy with me, but you don't get this opportunity very often. In fact, I've never seen it where you've had a recently retired combatant commander in the crowd as of 5 days ago, where she served her United States Air Force and her country for 36 years. She was solely in charge of protecting the North America, our country, and our allies for the last two years. And after 5 days, I'm sure she's still spinning down, but to General Lori Robinson and her husband, Major General Robinson, thank you so much for being here. And we're in a great debt of your service for protecting our country during a difficult time. And I'd like to give a round of applause for your efforts. Yeah, I think she's going to kill me for doing that. All right. Hey, real quickly, I'd like to take it up to 50,000 feet real quick. Every one of you single airmen, how many folks, raise your hands if you served in the Cold War? So Chief and I, Chief Brown, and a few others. Not many of us, right? There's Felton's there. It's good to see you. Not many of us. But what I'm telling the future of our Air Force and to the youth of our Air Force and the leaders that we're going to develop into the future, we're entering a new chapter where we need to develop leaders for basically Cold War 2.0. And I'll tell you that we're in a challenging time, in a time where we need to rethink as an Air Force what we're focused on and what our priorities are for the new national security environment that we find ourselves in. We have been heads down for literally 17 or 18 years in one particular spot of the globe. And we've been doing incredible work into the efforts of basically AFCENT and CENTCOM. We have done an incredible job in just the last short year to crush the bulk of the ISIS campaign and have small remnants left to clean up. But by and large, that was done through some incredible patriots that are on the ground from our SOCOM and the JSOC arena, as well as air power. But we're entering a new environment. Our enduring mission has always been to provide combat, credible military forces necessary to deter and protect the sovereignty of our country and our individual freedoms and our Constitution. And if that deterrence fails, or that if our country is attacked, or our allies or our national interests are attacked, that we would respond with swift and overpowering, lightning-fast power to sway our adversaries to go elsewhere with their behavior and their deeds. The importance of peace through strength and leading the free world has never been more important than it is right now and into the near future. And for all those Cold Warriors out there, as we serve that interesting chapter in our history, there was a lot of celebration about the peace dividends that were going to come down the line from overwhelming the USSR and that ideology, that communist ideology. And those peace dividends and that celebration of peacetime were quickly overwhelmed by global events that found ourselves for the next 25 years being very engaged across the globe because the peace didn't come as we anticipated it would come. It came in a different variation. But our force structure and our end strengths came down during that time frame, which wound up with our force being very heavy ops tempo. We flew our iron into periods of time of exhaustion. And we find ourselves just in the last year at being at the lowest end strength of our Air Force, with the multitude of missions that our country expects from its United States Air Force. And so we found ourselves in an interesting dynamic. But I'm here to tell you that communism, although we would like to have thought that we conquered it and it went away, it did not go away. That ideology just went to ground. And now it's showing itself as resurfacing in different forms and fashions as being an adversarial nature of competition, a great competition of peer competitors as we find ourselves in this new chapter. That's very sobering as we look at the environment that we're up against, our force structure, and the situation we find ourselves in. The last 30 years, we had a wide margin of competitive advantage over our adversaries and our peers. That wide margin has slimmed down a bit, and in some realms, we need to be thinking of a different mindset. A mindset that requires a competitive spirit. A spirit that means we need to get competitive again with the American conscience and being united. United in one fashion that our way of life, our national interests, and those other freedom-loving countries across the globe need to gather together in a partnership and in friendships that are against the other adversarial ideologies that are out there. Each and every single one of these young airmen have a direct connection to that wider 50,000-foot conversation that I just described to you in that environment. Because everything they do, every single day, it matters. And it matters more now than it has in the past. As we look at a very complex strategic environment that we find ourselves in. Make no mistake, we are the #1 Air Force in the world. We want to remain the #1 Air Force in the world, but we need to acknowledge that the time right now is not the time for complacency. The time for now is not the time of status quo. This is the way we've always done it, so we are going to proceed forward because that's just what we've done the last 4 decades. That's not good enough. It is not an option to stay static and think about the past. We need to be thinking about the future of you airmen, and the future of the Joint Force, and the future adversary potentials that are out there in front of us. In the next big shooting war, just like the Cold War days, you come with what you got. You do not have 6 months or 12 months or 22 years to build up your military force. You fight with what is on military grade status, readiness, right then and there when the balloon goes up the next time around. And so that is why the Secretary and the Chief are so laser focused on lethality and readiness. And you all, right here at Columbus Air Force Base and Team Blaze, are at the forefront of that readiness conversation that we're having for our Air Force and the pilots that you produce for our nation. What you do matters, and it matters how effective you are, and it matters what type of innovation you're bringing into this production engine, and envision what the future can be. We have entered into the speed of relevance, the age of speed, and we find ourselves lagging sometimes in some particular realms that we do not have the advantages that we would like to have or normally have had in the past. We need to develop young leaders that are risk-taking, that are bold, that speak the truth and are not fearful of their words of truth. I've had an honor to serve with General Robinson. That's the type of leader I'm talking about. Somebody that's bold, speaks the truth, gets after it, and doesn't worry about offending somebody's opinions, but cares about what we need to be strong for our nation and for our allies. That is the type of leaders that we need to be developing right now. They need to be smart risk takers. They need to be bold. They need to ask the institution, the bureaucracy, simple questions. They need to fight through the bureaucracy and the lethargic length of processes and decision makings that have occurred over time that have transformed our Department of Defense. We need to bring a laser focus effort to get ourselves into the future, and that's what Team Blaze has been doing right here in ATC. And on behalf of a very grateful General Quast, you guys have been knocking it out of the park. And not during an easy time. There have been difficulties along the way. Maintenance difficulties, OBOX difficulties where the Air Force said produce more, produce 15% more, but do it on the backs of your people. You guys stood up to the challenge. And I want to say we're very, very proud of you. But I guarantee you right now you have leaders that are on your side, that are asking the tough questions, that are focusing on the people and the people first. That's what Colonel Gosney was about, and that's what Colonel Weeks is about, is taking care of the people first, and they'll take care of the mission. That's the type of style of leadership that we have to have right now in our Air Force. We've got to produce combat warriors in the future to be smarter, stronger, tougher, faster, more agile, more resilient in the battle space of the future. We won't compromise on our standards because there's a perception that we have to produce more. We will not slip on quality. In fact, what I'm asking you all to do is tell me how we're going to produce better quality pilots in the future while increasing production. And that is within our grasp as we're finding out through our experiments, through innovation. We know we can do it. It's within our grasp. But what I'd like you to do, and what I'll be sharing, I had an incredible morning with the squadron commanders at breakfast, and I'm going to have a meeting with the instructors and talk about what it means to get back to basics. What to focus on. The focus on flight leadership, decision making in the air and on the ground. To think differently in the future than what we've been doing in the past. And to do the ordinary things exceptionally well, because those details and that excellence matters. The habit patterns of doing that really matter for the future that we see ourselves up against. And so I appreciate all your efforts. I appreciate those efforts, those squadron commanders and those flight commanders out there and those supervisors out in all those support units that are providing vector and guidance and direct engaged leadership on a day-to-day basis to steer their teams toward victories. Those day-to-day interactions matter. And I appreciate Colonel Gosney's vision and the style of leadership you provided Team Blaze. Guys, you had an incredible run. This team is succeeding, excelling because of your vision and your bold leadership. And the style and how you represented their challenges to the senior leaders of the Air Force. And I appreciate that integrity of yours and that truth speaking that you provided the 4th Flying Training Wing. You've hit enormous levels of production along the way. I won't go through all of them because I think your decoration kind of highlights them. But I will tell you, what you and Beth provided this team is the role model of what we look for from wing commanders in our Air Force, and will for a long time to come. And so thank you for your endearing talents, and quite frankly, your compassion for your airmen. That's what I've enjoyed watching the most, is as you've led them on to take on more mission and be empowered to make those decisions at the squadron commander level. It's sometimes kind of a chaotic churn for a wing commander to give up that freedom and allow people to possibly make some mistakes. But you're that risk taker that we're looking for. And we've been the recipient of all of your sound and very, very wise leadership at the stead here during a difficult time. We're very appreciative of an incredible career that you've had. I know the team's going to be talking about that later on, but thank you from Dee and I, and from Jim Applause, on just the exceptional leader that you've been for the United States Air Force. And I know that you will not stop serving your United States Air Force, and I know it's in your cross check to continue to serve just in a different fashion. But thank you so much for an incredible career, an incredible wing command. I will tell you, there's just a few things. You're looking right now at these fire dogs here. This is in DOD, right? They're the #1 medium-sized fire department in DOD. Like, you know how big that is? That is huge. That is just one example of the excellence that's coming from Team Columbus. I love the flying mission still occurring during this ceremony. Keep doing that. That's what we need to be doing. Don't stop the jet noise. Don't stop the sounds of freedom. You found yourselves in overseeing the top ops fighter squadron in 2016. You've had multiple outstanding Air Force Airmen of the Years, Air Force CGO Nurse of the Year, Air Force Honor Guard Airman of the Year, DoD Fire Department I just described to you, Outstanding Unit Award for the 14th, 2 years in a row, ongoing. The achievements have just been phenomenal along the way. And what I appreciate the most as an AF commander is how you focus and prioritize on the people and taking care of the family and taking care about their morale, their health care, and who they are as a people and the memories that they build. So thank you very much, guys. You've done a phenomenal job. And to combo, the Air Force couldn't find a more capable wing commander to take over for guys here at Team Columbus. You probably see her bio if you take a break from waving the air. I wish these fans were more powerful, but Combo's had an incredible career. She was an exceptional growing up because of a good master sergeant that trained her up, and a mom that trained her up well, being a military brat, and then she just continued to fly high. Wind herself up into F-15Cs, becoming an instructor pilot in the F-15C community, which is no small feat. Being recognized and selected to be a Thunderbird pilot, one of the best pilots in the Air Force, and bringing on all those attributes that we look for to represent being the ambassador for the Air Force. And she did that exceptionally well. She became a Chief of Staff Fellow, Lorenz Fellow, and she has commanded at the squadron level. She was an exec assistant to the NORTHCOM commander, and she just got done leading the adversary group out at Nellis. She knows how to lead airmen. She knows everything about the flying business. She knows everything about the threat and what we're up against for the future, not only in the flying domain, but the cyber and space domains as well. She is the right leader, and I guarantee you are going to take this incredible team and take it to the next level, Combo. So thank you so much. And it's very simple. Just set the conditions. Set the conditions for continuing to allow these great leaders innovate, think about the future, and make sure it's a happy, healthy environment, and they'll take you places that you never thought were available to you. Enjoy, have fun with this Wing Command, and it's been an honor to be a part of this team. There's some good stuff going on here. The good mojo in the community, the good mojo coming from the lieutenants on a day when they don't know they're talking to a NAF commander. You get the true essence of what they're talking and thinking about. And I love this environment. I love Columbus Air Force Base. There's some good living here, and there's some good stuff going on here for the Air Force. So thank you very much. Let's get on with the ceremony.
Thank you, General Gordy. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the Legion of Merit to Colonel Douglas Gosney. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of Legion of Merit, 1st Oak Leaf Cluster, to Colonel Douglas C. Gosney for meritorious service 22 July 2016 to 6 August 2018. Colonel Douglas C. Gosney distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander of 14th Flying Training Wing, Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi, from 22 July 2016 to 6 August 2018. During this period, Colonel Gosney led the wing to train and graduate 619 pilots and 175 wingmen, comprising nearly 1/3 of the United States Air Force's pilot production and the top pilot-producing wing. Additionally, his leadership was critical to the graduation of 98 international officers from 6 different countries. His wing was also the sole executor of the Secretary of the State's Aviation Leadership Program, training 58 international pilots from 35 partner nations. Simultaneously, the wing vastly improved contingency and mobility readiness to an all-time high while deploying 136 airmen to multiple operations across 17 countries. During his tenure as commander, Columbus Air Force Base remained the busiest airfield complex in the Air Force, flying over 110,000 sorties and logging over 150,000 flight hours. Additionally, Colonel Gosney oversaw the rewrite and execution of a brand new specialized undergraduate pilot training syllabus and course redesign that will increase the Air Force's production of pilots by 330 per year. Colonel Gosney's leadership extended to the 81st Fighter Squadron at Moody Air Force Base and was essential in the graduation of 34 pilots, 21 flight leads, 7 instructor pilots, and 89 maintainers for both the Afghanistan and Lebanon Air Forces. His gifted leadership led to the 81st Fighter Squadron's execution of over 311 successful strike missions with over 2,427 enemies killed in action. Furthermore, he deftly executed a $1.8 million Blaze Commons revitalization project, as well as over $1 million in base gym and fitness track expansions. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Gosney culminate a long and distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Doherty, ladies and gentlemen, the Commander, 14th Flying Training Wing, Colonel Douglas Gosney.
Well, good morning, Team Blaze. What an honor it is to be with you this morning, just as it's been my honor to work with you and for you over the last 2 years. My primary purpose today is to welcome and express sincere thanks and gratitude to several groups of folks. But before I do that, I want to publicly recognize everyone that worked so hard to make today's ceremony a first-class event. First, I'd like to recognize Captain Fortney and Lieutenant Ferrarini, our project officers, for the change of command. Both have worked extremely hard along with their amazing staff to make today look easy, but it is definitely not easy. To put their efforts in perspective, our protocol officer, Mrs. Billy Jo Spears, provides direction and support for all our changes of command. And she told me on Friday that this is the most organized team she has ever seen, which is quite the compliment. Please join me in a round of applause to thank them for their efforts. Speaking of protocol, Jo and her team of volunteers have their fingerprints all over this event and have been working around the clock for several weeks, ensuring all of our DVs are taken care of and every event has been executed flawlessly. Please give them a round of applause as well. Thank you for the fire department for not only being the best in the Department of Defense, but also putting up with change of command season and ensuring this facility is set up to support all the ceremonies and just as fast, take it down, reconfigure it to provide world-class support to the mission. And I do mean world-class support. Thank you very much. Round of applause, please. Special thanks to our honor guard for the exceptional manner in which they represent at not only our on-base ceremonies, but the frequent calls they get to support parades in surrounding communities and funerals for veterans in our region. They represent Team Blaze very well, and I thank them for all they do. And how about Alana Gilbert? Not only is she our amazing wing executive assistant and keeps me on track, which is no small feat, but she frequently gets asked to sing our national anthem, and every rendition is flawless and beautiful, and today is no exception. Thank you, Alana. Last but not least, Chaplain Richardson, thank you for your thoughtful invocation and your leadership of our chapel team. It is easy to see why you have been recognized as the command's best medium chapel 2 years in a row. To my extended family and friends, and the family and friends of Colonel Weeks, welcome to Columbus Air Force Base. Thank you for being here to celebrate this special day with us. General Robinson, Major General Robinson, congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for taking time out of your, what I hope is no longer a busy schedule, to be here today to support Combo and her family. General Doherty, thank you for your kind words, for taking the time to be here today to preside over today's ceremony, and for spending some extra time with Team Blaze today. Thank you as well for your leadership, mentorship, and advocacy over the last 18 months. General Doherty has worked tirelessly on behalf of the 14th Flying Training Wing and the rest of the enterprise as we have strived to make the most significant changes to the pilot training mission in the last 50 years. I look forward to seeing the successful outcomes of our recent efforts to effect change across the enterprise. Chief Brown, thank you for visiting Team Blaze today and for your steadfast support of our mission, and especially for the advocacy you provided for our enlisted airmen. Thank you for your service, and best of luck in your next chapter as well. Mr. Perry, Mr. Smith, Senator and Missy Younger, Charmer, Mayor Smith, thank you all for attending today and for your continued support of Columbus Air Force Base. We could not do what we do as well as we do it without the support from our communities and our political leaders, and we thank you for your continued advocacy. I also want to thank the Vertex Aerospace team for attending today as well, and for partnering with us as we execute the important mission of producing pilots for our Air Force and our allies. We're all going to have to push it up just a little bit further, and I know together we can do that. To our amazing Columbus Air Force Base wingmen, which looks to be mostly sitting on this side of the room, the Hall of Fame of community supporters and partners, thank you for being here today, for your support, your friendship, for loving our base, our mission, and our airmen. And a special shout out to my wingmen, number 32 and number 33, Major General Tango and Leanne Moore, and Colonel Smitty and Louise Harris. Thank you. Speaking of community support, today we have members of the Military Affairs Committee, the Base Community Council, honorary commanders, civic leaders, pilot partners, and many friends of the base. I don't know that many bases can say they have that many different organizations that provide support. And I'm reminded now that Mississippi Military Communities Council is also represented here today. Thank you all for attending and for your years of faithful support and service that you provided to Columbus Air Force Base. You've heard me say it before, but it's worth repeating. The many partnerships that exist between the base and the surrounding communities is truly special and unlike anything I've seen in my 23 years of service. Your love and support for the 14th Flying Training Wing is well known across the Air Force. If I could find a way to bottle up the magic sauce that makes this place so special, I would share it with every community that hosts an Air Force base. We simply could not do our mission as well as we do without you. Thank you so much. Chief E, gotta be over there somewhere. You're over there somewhere. Welcome to Team Blaze. I know you're going to absolutely love it here, and thank you for being part of today's ceremony. Wild, Claudia, Jay, Marla, Chief Over, thank you all for your amazing support and friendship, and all you've done and continue to do for Team Blaze, me, and my family. I truly value our friendships and hope our paths continue to cross in the future. Troop commanders, past and present, Stan, Tony, Mel, Guy, thank you for your professionalism, your dedication to the mission, your selfless service, for taking excellent care of your airmen and families, and most of all for your friendship. I've been fortunate to be surrounded by great leaders throughout my entire career, but I can say without a doubt that this team has been truly amazing. To my squadron commanders, superintendents, and first sergeants, thank you all for what you do each and every day to produce pilots, advance airmen, and feed the fight. It is truly impressive to watch how you take care of our airmen and families and execute the Wing's mission. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Wing staff and single them out, both past and present, who have dedicated countless hours to taking care of our airmen and families. To name just a few, Mark, Hubert, Victor, Justin, DJ, Ben, J-Mac, Joe, Alana, Colleen, Sonic, the IG, Safety, JA, PA, Command Post, XP, MAQ, Trader, Ken, Senior Steinbeck, Scott, Tank, Krusty. My apologies if I missed anyone, but this team has worked tirelessly on behalf of Team Blaze, and their contributions are often not known and certainly not fully understood or appreciated if you've not walked in their boots. But I have, and I understand, and I thank you for your service and personal sacrifice on behalf of the entire team. I thank your families as well, because I know they often get shortchanged. I hope you sleep well every night, not just from being exhausted from putting in an honest day's work, but from knowing that you put service before self and made a difference each and every day for members of Team Blaze. Finally, to my entire team, my family, Blaze Nation, all 2,700 of you, you're awesome. You're where the rubber meets the road. You take care of each other and the mission, and I gotta tell you, it's impressive to watch. I don't have sufficient command of the English language to describe to everyone just how incredible it is what you do every day in the execution of our Wing's primary mission to produce pilots, as well as advance airmen and feed the fight. But let me throw out a few statistics to help paint that picture. In my short time here, you have produced well over 110,000 sorties and over 150,000 flying hours. Those are staggering numbers, by the way. We graduated nearly 780 pilots from 42 different countries, producing over 1/3 of all Air Force pilots, all while becoming the #1 pilot producing wing in the Air Force. And to add to what General Doherty said, through some pretty challenging times. In addition, you graduated an additional 175 fighter wingmen through our IFF program, which will be our nation's future fighter pilots, which, in case you haven't heard, we have a critical shortage of them. You've garnered countless promotions and awards, both individual and organizational, at the highest levels, to include DoD level wins and even one of 12 Air Force Outstanding Airmen of the Year. You have faithfully supported our combatant commanders downrange, with 35 to 40 Blaze members continuously deployed across the world. If that wasn't enough, you even built an Air Force and helped bring additional capability to another Air Force through our 81st Fighter Squadron at Moody Air Force Base, who have done an exceptional job training the Afghan and Lebanon Air Forces in the close air attack mission in A-29 Super Tucano. You are a winning team that consistently hits singles and doubles to advance the runners and score runs for our wing and our Air Force. Sometimes we even hit the walk-off home run to secure the win, but generally speaking, you are so good at what you do daily that you don't find yourself in a situation to have to require that walk-off homer. And what I like most of all is when you win, and you do frequently, you don't dance around and celebrate like this is something new or unique, because you don't have to, because you've been there before. You're there every day. Instead, you just shake your teammate's hand, get back to working hard to secure the next victory. Keep up the great work. I look forward to flight following your successes from afar. And I can't talk about my Blaze family without talking about my family. My incredible, all-in family for the last 23 years. 27 this month for Beth and I. They have supported me, and they have supported you every step of the way, and they've done it without a complaint, despite the sacrifices, separations, and challenges over the year. Beth, Hunter, and Allie. Allie, I'm not going to look at you because you were crying during the anthem, so of course they made eye contact with you. So thank you for your service and sacrifices, and for sharing me with Team Blaze. I love you all, and I'm proud of the manner in which you have also served and supported our Air Force. It's been my absolute honor and privilege to be your wingman the last 2 years. What an amazing journey it's been. If I have to end my career, I can think of no place I'd rather be than right here with Team Blaze. Thank you again for making us feel so special. You've made us feel like family, both inside and outside the gates, and you will always be part of our family. I'm not going to lie, I'm not ready to give up the guidon and turn it over to somebody else to raise my family, but I know Colonel Combo Weeks is the right person for the job and will do great things for Blaze Nation and take this wing to an even higher level. I ask that you please show Colonel Weeks and her family the same love and support that you have shown me and my family. Combo, Steve, Ryan, Ethan, congratulations. Welcome to the family. You're going to absolutely love it here. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Ghazi. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel William Denham, the 14th Flying Training Wing Vice Commander, will present the members of Team Blaze one last time to Colonel Ghazi.
Wing, team hook. Reset. Off. Order. Off.
We would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Colonel Ghazi for his leadership and personal contributions to the wing during his tenure. We would also like to thank you, Mrs. Ghazi. What did you do here at your time in Columbus? As the honorary president of the Scouts Club, you were at every event, at every meeting, and every fundraiser. Time and time again, you would draw from what you were doing to help others. Everything you did for this base and this community made a difference. You will be missed. Team Blaze wishes you and your family good luck and Godspeed. Now, please rise for the change of command. Attention to orders. Pursuant to Special Order G-18-003, Colonel Douglas C. Ghazi relinquishes command of the 14th Flying Training Wing, Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi. Colonel Samantha A. Weeks will assume command of the 14th Flying Training Wing, Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi, effective 6 August 2018 by the order of Major General Patrick J. Boyd. Commander, 19th Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, Colonel Denham will present the men and women of the 14th Flying Training Wing to their new commander, Colonel Samantha Weeks.
Set. Launch. Order. Launch. Parade. Best.
I would like to direct your attention to the 14th Flying Training Wing flagship, located to my right. It is a long-standing tradition in flying squadrons, groups, and wings that with the change of command, so changes the name on the flagship. Larry Chisholm, a highly dedicated and professional Vertex Aerospace crew chief, will now ceremoniously change the name on the wing flagship from Colonel Douglas Gosgowski to Colonel Samantha Combo Weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 14th Flying Training Wing, Colonel Samantha Weeks.
Good morning. First, Colonel Denham, please put the formation at ease. Thank you to Captain Courtney, Lieutenant Farini, and the rest of the team for all the hard work it took to set up today's ceremony. It's been absolutely perfect, and it's because of the hard work over the last few weeks of many people behind the scenes who made it happen. I'd also like to thank Chaplain Richardson for the prayers and words of wisdom befitting everybody in attendance today, and the Honor Guard and Miss Ilana Gilbert for the beautiful rendition of the national anthem. And lastly, to our hosts, the Fire Dogs, thank you for preparing your home for our ceremony today. Major General Doherty, sir, thank you very much for officiating today and for the faith and confidence you and the Air Force have in me to give me this opportunity. Steve and I are very excited at all that lies ahead and promise that we will lead our airmen with integrity and take care of them and their families. To our distinguished visitors, Mr. Perry, Mr. Smith, Congressman Kelly, Senator Younger, and Mayor Smith, thank you all for attending. I'd also like to thank our mission partners, Vertex Aerospace, and all of our Columbus wingmen and community members. Your attendance really speaks to the connection that Team Blaze has with the Columbus community. I am humbled beyond words and measure at the opportunity granted me today to take command of the 14th Flying Training Wing and having the responsibility and privilege to lead the 2,700 airmen, officer and enlisted, active duty and reserve, civilian and contractor that make up Team Blaze. I remember during my track select a few years ago, okay, so what's 20 amongst friends, thinking about the importance and the leadership at a pilot training base to our students, our Air Force, and ultimately our nation. I never imagined back then that I would one day get to lead such an important mission. Producing pilots has been integral to the Air Force since its inception in 1947. And as you heard Major General Doherty say, it's a key mission today and one that our national defense strategy hinges upon. Columbus Air Force Base has been the premier pilot training wing with a strong community devoted to developing the world's best airmen, and it will continue to be. Just reading about Columbus and driving through the city, it's obvious the connection between the base and the community is one of the strongest partnerships that any wing could ever ask for. A mentor once told me that relationships are a center of gravity. And at first, from a military strategist point of view, it made absolutely no sense to me. But as I watched and witnessed, I realized the wisdom in his words and now espouse the same mantra. Relationships are the center of gravity, and Steve and I look forward to meeting each of our community partners and continuing to build everlasting bonds. I want to acknowledge and thank my family in attendance today for supporting me for the last 42 years and always being the foundation from which I can learn from, lean on, and grow on. My father and mother instilled in me the core values before they were a thing: integrity, service, and excellence, and I wouldn't be here today without their example, love, and support, especially during some of those difficult high school years. I'd also like to thank my husband, Steve, who separated from active duty so that he could put down some roots, but selflessly uprooted so that we can continue to serve. Without his willingness to walk this world with me, I wouldn't be here. And over the past 3 years, we've added a little bit more to our marriage with 2 amazing sons who you actively and purposefully help raise. Thank you for setting the example for the men that they will become. To my sister Della and Tamara and Dana, who couldn't be here today, your differences, perspective, and support help me see the world through different lenses, and I appreciate all you do for me and my family. To my in-laws, Mark and Sandy, first, I never want to move without you two again. The house and our lives would be nowhere near as put together without your tireless efforts. Thank you for being my biggest fans and the most awesome Nana and Papa to our children. And to my adopted parents, Gigi and Grampy, it's amazing to me how God has plans that I couldn't have imagined. And I remember seeing a group commander in a flight suit some 15 odd years ago on the ramp at Langley Air Force Base and thought, wow, who's that? And then a decade ago, I missed a suspense to email within a week, and that turned into a relationship that I couldn't imagine my life without. You collectively are my go-to phone a friend, where I ask for advice, and still at times chart my own course. Words cannot express my loving gratitude for you both, and the role that you play in my life, career, and family. Professionally, you've taught me to balance the individual and the institution. And as I take wing command today, I will remember that and keep it center in all that I do, and continue to pass on that lesson to the next generation. Most importantly, to the men and women of Team Blaze, thank you for welcoming both me and my family. We're excited to continue the excellent work of Gaz and Beth Gosney to produce pilots, advanced airmen, and feed the fight. It takes each and every one of us working diligently and faithfully in our area of expertise to accomplish the mission. And I promise to work endlessly to ensure that you are organized, trained, and equipped to do your job. I will also help you develop as experts in your field and care for you and your family, whether that's as a husband or a wife or a son or a daughter. I will work diligently to ensure that we are connected with each other, our community, and our Air Force. Thank you for the immense responsibility, and I look forward to getting to meet and know each one of you and continue to serve in the world's greatest Air Force with you. God bless each of you, the Air Force, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Hillary. We would like to extend a hearty congratulations to you, your husband Steve, and your family. Welcome to Team Blaze. Please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party.
Wing Tip Hook.
This concludes today's ceremony. Please join Colonel Samantha Weeks and her family